Hi, and welcome to Alaskan in the Philippines, currently in Thailand. So, my 90 days were up, are coming up the 13th here. So, I had to make a border run on the 8th. I just had to leave the country and get my passport stamped out of the country. Then I can hopefully get back in. So, anyway, I signed up with this border run agency that takes a van and they run to Rayon, and then from there they take a boat across the Andaman Sea part of just the little spit of it. It's only about a 10-minute ride, 15-minute ride, I think, in a boat. It was pretty cool. So what happened? They picked me up at 0600. We headed down, brought me back over to the shop. Ironically, where they're located is right in the condo I'm going to move to next. I think this is the same place. But anyway, we all jumped in at 0600. We were rocking on down the road in a van that had these nice plush captain's chairs with armrests. It had a tray table in front that spring-loaded cup holders popped out of. It had the climate control right above your head like an airplane, lights and air con. But he kept it just perfect temperature all the whole trip. The driver is a Thai guy. He spoke some English. He brought everything, man. It was nice. So we get rattling down the road at 0600. They had a great sound system. Cranking to Boy George. Crazy. But anyway, he was stuck in the 80s with his music, but he had music the whole way, the entire way. It wasn't too loud and too annoying, but he just had a weird choice. But anyway, we got going down the road, and after a couple hours, it's 250 miles, I think, one way. It's 5 hours. So we were scheduled to be there around 11, and we actually got there around 12, I think. We were behind schedule. We took a long tea break, about 3 hours, 2.5 hours into the trip. He pulled into the coffee shop, or he had to fuel up. The van ran on propane. It was a pretty nice van, really nice. Really, I love those seats. It was better than the airplane. It's just good leg room and everything. It was actually a very comfortable run. Big windows. You could see everything going down the road at a 360 almost. It's really nice. So he pulled into a coffee shop after about 3 hours, and there was a restroom, everything. That was one of my biggest worries, was having to go 5 hours and needing to piss so bad. But he didn't. He pulled us over every couple of 3 hours, 2 hours of traveling, 2.5 hours of traveling. He pulled us into this coffee shop, and he says, "Go on in, order coffee, I'll pay, don't worry." And we all walked in, 10 of us. There was 10 of us, all Europeans. I was the only American. There was 3 or 4 Italians, one guy was Scottish, another guy from Denmark, I think. I don't know where the other guy was from. He didn't speak, so I don't know, but there was a bunch of Italians and Europeans, all Europeans. I was the only one from the North American continent. Most of them didn't speak English, except the Scottish guy. I could speak to him. We chatted a bit. And the Denmark guy, he could speak some too. It was a good crowd. They were real good, friendly people, down to earth, real nice, polite to me, and real great. But anyway, we had our coffee there. He came in from the van with donuts and fruit, fresh grown bananas. You could tell they were probably come out of his backyard. And what else did he have? Different kind of pastries. Oh, oranges and small oranges, fresh grown locally here too. There's all kinds of fruit. So we rattled on, drank and ate that, and stayed for about a half hour there. It was a little long, I thought. But then we ended up rattling on down. We got down there, started going through the mountains. It was really beautiful. Rubber plantations on both sides. It was jungle, thick jungle. Oh, what did they have? A lot of, I like noticing all the trees and foliage, because where I was from, there wasn't nothing cool like that. I actually have a banana tree and a lemon tree and a palm tree in my house back in Alaska. I got 3 banana trees. They actually kind of had bananas. But anyway, off topic again. But yeah, there's banana plantations, these coconut plantations, pineapple fields. But as we got into the mountains, it was more towards the border. The mountains, they climb up into the mountains. It got to be more what is that stuff? Palm oil. They grow these palm trees for the oil, and they were just everywhere. And rubber plantations. I didn't know what the trees were at first, and then I noticed they all had little jugs hanging off them, and they had troughs carved in them, and they were spindly trees, not that big, around about this big, and they were catching the sap. And there was tanker trucks going around. It took me a while to figure out what was going on, but I realized, yeah, it was like sap collectors in the U.S., you know. They were collecting the rubber. And I figured it out. There's a bunch of tire factories here. It seemed like I could never figure out why all these little Michelin men were hood ornaments on these trucks. All these trucks, you know, the Michelin man, he's a cartoon character. They have these chrome ones all over their trucks. They have like 10 of them, some of them. These Michelin man. I guess there's Michelin tire companies, and I seen a Bridgestone tire company. So all this rubber they must have tire factories here big time in Thailand somewhere, because they're tanker trucks of this rubber going on. And I see a lot of rubber tire companies in around. But anyway, back onto the journey, we get to this dock, go down into this valley and down into the river, and Andaman Sea right there. And we park there, and there's the immigration. Go into the immigration right at the dock, and we go up and stamp our passports, stamp on out, go down the stairs, down onto the actual floating dock in the waves. And there's a couple of bat boats there. They're like James Bond boats, but they weren't that cool. They had twin 250 Yamahas on them, but their boats were too drafted too much. They were cavitating when they were trying to go. So we all loaded in the boats, all 10 of us. I think there was 9 or 10 of us. 10 of us. Got in the boat, and he chugged us across the sea. I videoed that. I'll upload that later. I videoed the crossing of the sea. I screwed up. The wind made it real bad. My fingers are in the way, but it's still worth a watch to see, I think. I'll upload that later. But yeah, and then we headed over to the Myanmar side. It was about a 15-minute boat ride in the bat boat. And we got over there and just pulled up to the dock. That town is beautiful. It has a lot of shrines. You see temples from when we were pulling up, just all kinds of shrines and temples. Even right at the dock, they had a real nice shrine. And we pulled up, and I figured it would just be like Thais. They're just on the other side of the creek and river, you know, they'd be the same people. But man, they looked different. They were kind of short and different looking. And they were wearing dresses like you see in the Middle East or whatever they were wearing. A lot of them weren't wearing shoes, just dresses. And they had those beanie hats, some of them with a tassel like, and it was a round white cap. It was a whole different strange thing. None of them could speak English at all. We jumped off, and right away we were hit with beggar kids. A pack of 5 or 6 of them came up and started begging. They were eating corn, piece of corn. They were eating sweet corn. But the sweet corn in Asia is never very good. I've tried it. So these poor boys were just eating this corn walking. And we had to go up to the immigration, walked up to the immigration, and it was just more or less like an outhouse, just a covered shed like. And you just walk up there, there's a desk. They made a photocopy of our passport, gave them the photocopy they gave them the photocopy paper and then our passport. We all lined up there, and they did some paper shuffling on them, and they had a computer hooked up, so they were typing everything in, and then they stamped it, and had to go back, started going out there left the place. The little beggar kids came back again. So I thought, I had a whole wad of 20 peso bills that I've been carrying as for tips. You know, I thought, I'll give them to these kids. So I gave them about 100. I gave like 5 of them $20 or 20 baht bills. It's like 60 cents each. They were really happy. They all ran away, and we walked down to the dock, and I didn't get my passport back from the one guy. He told me to wait here, and then he told me to go over there, and then I went over there and waited, and then he walked by me, and then later I go down there, and he's standing there with the other bus ride guys, and the European guys, and they're all standing there looking at my passport, laughing and pointing at the whole crowd's looking at it, and then they go, "Oh, there he is," and they hand him my passport. And he's like, "Passport, here's your passport, sir." I was like, "Oh, okay, thanks." I took it, and then he just kept following me around. Tip, tip, tip. He kind of kept my passport for a tip, I think. I was like standing there, and then the little girl came running up. She had missed me when I handed out 20 baht bills to the other kids, and she ran up, and she couldn't speak anything, but went like that, and I knew what she wanted. She wanted the 20 peso too. And luckily I had 2 of them left. So I gave the little girl the 20, and I just gave him a 20 too. I don't know why I even gave it to him, but I gave it to him. He was happy enough with it. Maybe he needed to feed his family. It looked like it was kind of poor over there. There was kind of some markets set up. You could buy things and stuff. It was a real beautiful country. It was real pretty. I thought it was just beautiful from just what we could see from the dock and up there. We didn't go far into town, just right up a little ways from the dock. And then we all went back down, boarded the boat again, started heading back across. The boat was cavitating real bad. It couldn't get on step because of the motors weren't down. It needs extra long shafts because of the draft on the water. I know boats. Or he could have put a hydraulic transom on it, put it up and down. But it just wasn't in the water deep enough, so he was kind of, it would overheat and he'd have to stop and then pump water again. It was cavitating and getting a bunch of air bubbles so it wouldn't get on, grab the prop, wouldn't catch. So we did that, and then it stopped overheating a couple of times out in the middle of the Andaman Sea. But it wasn't very far. It was just like 3 miles across, 2 or 3 miles, it looked like. So he got it up again, and he eventually did get it back up on step, and we made it over to the dock, went up to and then we had to fill out a Thai card of entry again. We filled out the entry card of your passport, your address, phone number, all that. You had to go back up and give it to the people at the immigration there. It was just right at a dock. The Thai immigration was just a little building right there at the dock too. So where we took off, so we went back up and they stamped us in. Walked in, got in the van again. Real beautiful there. You could just see the other side of right over, right on the sea there. So we jumped in the van and started heading out, but he didn't leave. He brought us right up on top of the bluff, overlooking the whole sea and everything. And we stopped there and had dinner. We walked up to this restaurant. It had live crabs. It had oysters this big, 3-pounders, I swear. I took a picture of it, I think. They had all kinds of those weird horseshoe crabs and stuff. They pulled them out of the tank, and the guy was showing them to me and stuff. They got a really spiky tail that'll stab you, man. It's really hard. I'm surprised how sharp it was, too. Like a stingray. Those things, you don't want to step on one. But they eat them there. They had fish and everything in the tank. You just get it live. They'll cook it for you. But they had a whole table set of Thai food behind us with fried chicken and Thai shrimp, some kind of hot shrimp, man. It was really spicy too. And then some fish cookies or something. But it was a whole meal with rice, hot rice, and it was cooking right on the table. We pulled up and just literally sat down and ate. It was all spread out for us. And it was all from the tour guide people. We were like, wow, blown away. So we sat and ate good Thai food, spicy, of course. The guys were even joking, the Denmark guys, when Thai say it ain't spicy, you know it's still spicy. Sure enough, it was burn your mouth. But it's so good, you got to eat it anyway. It's just so delicious. But we ate it, and it was a beautiful spot overlooking this bay. It was just nice, beautiful, beautiful. And then we jumped in and got on our trip and started heading back, got to go back through the mountains and all the rubber plantations, pineapples. I know there's durian trees. I could just see the whole jungle. It was just beautiful, very beautiful. You could tell it was all been logged off and planted though with rubber plantations. You could see rubber nursery plantations. So the rubber is the big money there. And the palm oil, everything's planted in palm oil. They'll grow but both. They'll grow like palm oil with coconut in between them and bananas in between the smaller ones or something. So they really utilize the land, but you can see it's all planted in trees, that the agriculture. And there was all kinds of truckers going by, tankers with the sap from the rubber. And there was also all kinds of loads of firewood, like any kind of wood. It was like cut in 4-foot sections, so I don't know what they were going to do with it. Probably pulp for paper, I'm guessing. There was just loads and loads of lumber going back and forth. Even lumber scraps from scrap mills, you could see they were just small little shaving pieces. They all had them stacked on tractor trailers, and they were hauling it to Bangkok, it looked like. So there's quite an industry, and all the fruit and the pineapple fields too. So there's just a major agricultural wizards these Thai people are. I don't know why for the life of me the Filipinos don't do the same thing. They could really, I mean, they must make out good. These farms are big time farmers. They look like they're doing pretty good. They have big equipment. They're running tractors and stuff, I see. So it's pretty cool. But anyway, we had some beautiful scenery. I videoed some of the scenery. I'll upload some of that if it ain't too boring. Maybe it'll make you dizzy because it's out of a van going 50 miles an hour down the beach or down the road. So anyway, yeah, we headed out. It was another 5 hours to get back home. Traffic was pretty good the whole way. Not many. The beautiful highway road was smooth. The van was comfortable. The air con was great. The guy had water bottles and snacks for us the whole time. And fed us lunch, and we toured on back. Didn't get back till about 8 o'clock. So it was like a 14 hours. But it was enjoyable. I looked at it as a tour. You know, I haven't been on any tours in Thailand. I haven't got to see any of the country. So this was me getting to see a big chunk of Thailand for 5,000 baht. So that's 160, or no. Yeah, it was 5,300 baht. So that's $160, and then get another 90 days in Thailand to boot too, making an actual border run. These people were really, really nice. So when we got back, I tipped the guy because he picked me up in the morning. He came at 5:45 and picked me up before everybody else, and he brought me to their shop, which was under the condo I'm going to be moving to, I was telling you. And we stopped there and met up all the other people, walked across, or walked there, or got their own ride there, parked their motorbike there. And then we took off from there. And they didn't even charge me anymore. She took our money right there, 4,000, or we put $1,000 or 1,000 baht deposit before when I signed up, and then paid the balance that morning to her. Really nice couple, really friendly guy. The guy's really super helpful. And we got back. He didn't even charge me for pickup fee. So when I got out of the van, I gave him 100 baht. And when we ate too, I left 100 at the table. I felt like we'd ate for free, and there was 3 people like sitting behind us watching us, and I could tell they were the cooks and the bus boys and bus girls that were going to have to clean it up, and they were ones that put on the spread. So I left 100 there, 100 baht there. It's $3 for the cooks and that. And I don't know if the other people left a tip or not. I got up and left and did some videoing around. But then I got back, and when we got out of the van, I knew he picked me up, and he didn't charge me anything. He got up extra early to come pick me up over here, and that's about a mile away. So I gave him 100 baht. He smiled and said thank you and walked. He asked if I wanted to bring you home. I'll bring you home. And I said, no, I'll walk. I felt like walking. And I wanted to walk down and get a burger at McDonald's. I wanted a double quarter pounder when I get hungry. I didn't eat all day. Oh, I did eat with them, but I didn't eat much. I didn't like rice too much. So I went down to McDonald's, and I ordered a double quarter pounder with cheese, and takeaway. I was going to go home and eat it. And when I sat down, I looked, there was a guy sitting next to me. I barely was watching him, and then I noticed something fall out of his pocket, and then I looked down at it. I was going to tell him, but I looked down at it, and it was just a napkin, one of those brown fast food napkins. I didn't say anything. I looked down, and I didn't say anything, and I went back to wait, and then I wasn't paying attention. He got up and walked around and then left, I think, or walked around, and I was getting up, and I was checking to see if my number was up, and I walked by it, and I go, damn, that looked like 100 baht. And I looked down, and I picked it up, and I looked to see if the guy was around, and I picked it up, and I was looking to see if he was around. I was going to give it to him, and he was nowhere to be found. He had left, must have been about 5 minutes before that, because I'd already been waiting for my burger for 5-10 minutes, and he got up. I figured he'd walked around somewhere, but he was gone, and I looked, and I brought it back to my seat. Oh, wow, $100, 100 baht, $3. You know, I thought, that's my day. That's my good luck for tipping, maybe. Got my tips back, some of them. I opened it up, and it was 1,000. It was 1,000, so that's $30. And I looked again around and waited for the guy. I still had to wait another 15 minutes for my burger. It's pretty slow there. So I waited around. He didn't come back. I went outside. People were walking right by it. Nobody noticed it. For 10 minutes, the thing had been laying there. I'd seen it when it fell down. I think it fell out of his pocket, or it was under his feet anyway. So I picked it up, and I made $30 or $30 back out of the deal for my tipping those kids. See, karma comes in mysterious ways. I feel guilty about keeping it. So if you're watching and you lost 30 or 1,000 baht at the McDonald's and you come back, I'll remember you. You message me, I'll give it back to you if you can tell me it's yours or not. But anyway, yeah, that was a great trip. So I got my burger and I wandered home, made it home a little late and got up early and took a walk on the beach this morning. I'm back good for 90 days. I'm going to be moving into a new crib, so we'll see how that works out too. So stay tuned for more Hoi Hin adventures. If you want to keep up to date, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.